It is arguably the greatest gift given to the Fellowship by Galadriel. A gift that would save both the ring-bearer and his closest companion, serving as a light in dark places when all other lights go out. Today on Nerd of the Rings, we cover the Phial of Galadriel. While the Phial of Galadriel has a relatively brief history itself, the history behind its power is far-reaching, and its importance to Frodo and Sam's quest is very great. After Gandalf falls to the Balrog in Moria, the Fellowship comes to Lothlorien, where Frodo would meet the Lady Galadriel. During this time, he would gaze into her mirror, seeing visions of things that were, things that are, and things that had not yet come to pass. As the Fellowship makes to leave Lothlorien and continue on their quest, Galadriel bestows upon the Fellowship gifts. While all would receive such things as limbus and elven cloaks, each would receive individual gifts as well. Aragorn receives the Elessar, a green gem that serves as a gift from the bride's family, as Galadriel is Arwen's grandmother, to the groom. He also receives a sheath for his reforged sword, anduril. Boromir receives a golden belt, while Merry and Pippin each receive belts of silver. Legolas gets a bow of the Galadrim, strung with elf hair, along with arrows. Sam not only gets elven rope, but also a small wooden box containing soil from Lorien and a single Malorn nut. Gimli famously receives 3 strands of Galadriel's hair, which would become a treasured heirloom set in imperishable crystal. As for Frodo, he would receive the Phial of Galadriel, also known as Star Glass. "And to you, ring-bearer," she said, turning to Frodo, "I come to you last, who are not last in my thoughts. For you I have prepared this." She held up a small crystal phial. It glittered as she moved it, and rays of white light sprang from her hand. "In this phial," she said, "is caught the light of Earendil's star, set amid the waters of my fountain. It will shine still brighter when night is about you. May it be a light to you in dark places, when all other lights go out. Remember Galadriel and her mirror." Frodo took the phial, and for a moment as it shone between them, he saw her again standing like a queen, great and beautiful, but no longer terrible. He bowed, but found no words to say. As Galadriel explains, the phial contains water from her mirror, as it reflected the light from the star of Earendil. As we've discussed in other videos, Earendil, the father of Elrond, carried the Silmaril which Beren and Luthien had stolen from Morgoth's crown. After Morgoth's defeat at the end of the First Age, Earendil would forever sail the skies with the Silmaril upon his brow, giving the sky the star of Earendil. As this light comes from a Silmaril, it is by the time of the Third Age, one of the very few remnants of the light of the 2 trees of Valinor. As such, we will find it has incredible power against the darkness of the world, though as we will see, even this light has its limits. After the gift is bestowed, the phial would largely go unmentioned. One such reference comes after the breaking of the Fellowship, as Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli debate whether to pursue the orcs during the night and risk going off their trail, or resting and risk losing ground, and Merry and Pippin. As they are weighing their options, Gimli says, "Would that the lady had given us a light, such a gift as she gave to Frodo." To which Aragorn responds, "It will be more needed where it is bestowed. With him lies the true quest." After its introduction in Lorien, the phial goes unmentioned and seemingly forgotten by Frodo and Sam until the closing chapters of the 2 Towers, as we find Frodo, Sam, and Gollum nearing the stairs of Cirith Ungol. Frodo sees the great cavalry of Sauron marching forth from Minas Morgul, led by the Witch King. The Lord of the Nazgul halts, sensing some other power within his valley. As he sweeps the shadows with unseen eyes, Frodo feels a call to put on the ring. Against his will, his hand moves toward the ring, but instead finds something else. Then his own will stirred. Slowly it forced the hand back and set it to find another thing. a thing lying hidden near his breast. Cold and hard it seemed as his grip closed on it, the Phial of Galadriel, so long treasured and almost forgotten till that hour. As he touched it, for a while all thought of the ring was banished from his mind. He sighed and bent his head. The Witch King continues on his march to war with Minas Tirith. Their demise averted, the hobbits continue on their path. The next day, Frodo would use the Phial while leaving Minas Morgul. Frodo would also wield the Phial after Gollum's treachery is revealed, as Sam reminds him it was to be a light when all other lights go out. Slowly his hand went to his bosom, and slowly he held aloft the Phial of Galadriel. For a moment it glimmered, faint as a rising star struggling in heavy eastward mists. And then, as its power waxed and hope grew in Frodo's mind, it began to burn and kindled to a silver flame, a minute heart of dazzling light, as though Earendil himself had come down from the high sunset paths with the last Silmaril upon his brow. The darkness receded from it until it seemed to shine in the center of a globe of airy crystal, and the hand that held it sparkled with white fire. Frodo gazed in wonder at this marvelous gift that he had so long carried, not guessing its full worth and potency. Seldom had he remembered it on the road until they came to Morgul Vale, and never had he used it for fear of its revealing light. "Aya Earendil Elenion Ankarima," he cried, and knew not what he had spoken, for it seemed that another voice spoke through his, clear, untroubled by the foul air of the pit. This Quenya phrase that comes unbidden into Frodo's mind translates to, "Hail Earendil, brightest of stars." Of course, as we know, Frodo would be poisoned by Shelob, and Sam would go on to use the Phial after wounding the spider. Not only does he use it to escape the spider's lair, but also when he encounters the Watchers of the Tower of Cirith Ungol. The two Watchers are carven figures, each formed of 3 bodies, with faces of vultures and eyes of black stone. They are inhabited by some dreadful spirit of evil vigilance. Sam encounters these mysterious Watchers as he seeks to rescue Frodo from the Tower of Cirith Ungol. He attempts to cross the entryway, but is unable to cross the threshold by the power of the Watchers. Then, greatly daring because he could think of nothing else to do, answering a sudden thought that came to him, he drew slowly out the Phial of Galadriel and held it up. Its white light quickened swiftly, and the shadow under the dark arch fled. The monstrous Watchers sat there cold and still, revealed in all their hideous shape. For a moment, Sam caught a glitter in the black stones of their eyes, the very malice of which made him quail. But slowly he felt their will waver and crumble into fear. Then he sprang past them, but even as he did so, thrusting the Phial back into his bosom, he was aware, as plainly as if a bar of steel had snapped to behind him, that their vigilance was renewed. Sam would carry the Phial of Galadriel during the late stages of their journey, as he and Frodo crossed the dark and deadly plains of Mordor. This light of Earendil would remain hidden until Sam comes to one of the most evil places in all Middle-earth, Mount Doom. After his confrontation with Gollum and sparing his life, Sam runs to the very crack of Mount Doom, trying to catch up with Frodo. At first he could see nothing. In his great need, he drew out once more the Phial of Galadriel, but it was pale and cold in his trembling hand, and threw no light into that stifling dark. He was come to the heart of the realm of Sauron, and the forges of his ancient might, greatest in Middle-earth. All other powers were here subdued. Here, in the very heart of Mordor, even the Phial of Galadriel, bearing the light of the Silmaril of Earendil, could not penetrate the darkness. Of course, the ring would ultimately be destroyed, and the Phial of Galadriel, along with Sam's wooden box from the lady, would be returned to them by Gandalf at the Field of Cormallen, having been found in Sam's possession when they were rescued. The Phial of Galadriel would be referenced once again on the final page of The Return of the King, as Frodo sails from the Grey Havens to the Undying Lands. It is the last sign that Sam, Merry, and Pippin would see of their friend, as the ship slowly slips away down the long grey firth. and the light of the glass of Galadriel that Frodo bore glimmered and was lost. Thus the Phial of Galadriel goes with its bearer and its maker to the uttermost west, sailing out of the history of Middle-earth. As always, I want to say a huge thank you to all my Patreon and YouTube supporters who make this channel possible. Tom DeBombadil 19, Lissamy the Cinda, Rabbi Rob Thomas, Charles Leisure, CCDC Red Team, Joe Tepper, The Mighty Mim, Andrew Carlisle, Leo Vittori, Sky Carcass, Slide Belts, Dane Ragnarsson, Berto Berg, Graham Derricott, The Dark-Haired One, Wyland, Micah Wu, and Debbie. If you enjoyed the artwork in this video, check out the artists in the description to purchase prints of their great work for yourself. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Nerd of the Rings.